Good morning. It's Elizabeth Eleanor with Pause, and I want to start with saying if you don't notice the synchronicities and the coincidences in your life because you're not looking at them, that's um, that's not that they're not happening, it's that you're just not noticing them. That's a really weird way to start, but it's so true, right? When you are um, checking out and noticing the things that are happening in your life, that's when you can define them as synchronicities, magic, coincidences, if you want to say they're coincidences. That's when you define something, right? Because you take notice of it. And I want to start with the fact that I see triple numbers all the time, right? I see things all the time, and yet, um, just as an example, I've got a client that um, I happened to be at her house the other day, and she said to me, "You know how you guys all see the triple numbers and stuff?" She said, "I never see them. I'm not connected to them." And I said, "It's just that you're not noticing them." Well, lo and behold, I think it was like 5, 10 minutes later, she went to look at her phone and it was 11:11, which is an angel portal, right? And I noticed it, but she didn't notice it. She said, "Oh yeah, it's about 11 o'clock. It's nearly quarter to 11." She said, "Quarter past 11." And I said, "It's 11:11. Do you notice what time it is, right?" And so, if you're not keeping your eyes open for those things, what you're looking for and what your brain will look for is all of the damage, all of the trauma, all of the things that your body goes into survival mode for, because that's what the brain, the reptilian brain is constantly looking for ways to survive. Where's their danger, right? And the reason I decided to bring this up, one, it's the end of our sixth anniversary. Today's the 30th. Tomorrow is the 1st of October. We have done a whole September of our sixth anniversary, the whole of my Virgo energy, right? Every month, every year, we always bring it up, and we always look at what has gone on for the year, and we always celebrate it because it's been 6 years in this particular business. I've been in business for 28 years now, but this particular business has been 6 years. And the reason I wanted to bring it up was because on social media, I happen to be on some of the community notice board Facebook groups, right? And what I have noticed, because they come up on my feed, is I don't know about your area and where, what you're looking at, and what you have been seeing in your world lately, but there's a lot of kids on these e-bikes, right, at the moment. And the dichotomy of it, right? Because, uh, as I said to Tim, is so good that they are not on their PlayStations and their boxes and their machines, and on social media, and just sitting and being dormant. It's so good that that's happening, and yet, um, in our area, they're causing havoc everywhere, because I live down at the marina at Shell Cove, and there's always people around on the weekends. There's lots of little kids, running around. And these kids on these e-bikes come scooting through, like often doing, 40, 50 Ks an hour with three kids on the bike, and all of the things, and doing monos, the whole thing, right? And there's a problem. It is a problem because there's no respect of other people's space, and they're flying through, you know, like, and you don't know when they're coming and all the things. However, right, what I've been hearing and seeing in these community notice boards is now these kids, you know, there's groups of these kids getting together and they're throwing rocks at cars and water bombs and, you know, doing monos in front of other cars, you know, coming towards them. They're really being disruptive. And the other day I was down at the marina and I went down quickly and it was, you know, it'd been raining a bit, so I drove down and I was driving back and I just had the thought, I don't see any of these big groups, right? I don't see these big groups of kids. Apparently now there's a whole heap of them on um, dirt bikes as well, right? I never see these kids and the havoc that they're causing. I read about it and then just, you know, skirt through. But what happens is in these posts, there's like this flurry of people complaining and then other people complaining about the people that are complaining and, you know, leave them alone and, you know, Karen and blah, 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 blah. And just this like conversation or this, you know, argument in these groups of people just, you know, abusing each other and having, you know, the time to sit and whinge and complain. And I never see them. And I was considering whether I bring this up or not because it's a topic that's a little bit controversial because if you are not aligned with what you want to create, if you're, and I keep barging on about it and carrying on about it, right? But this is a classic example because when you're aligned to the chaos and you're aligned to, well, let's put it this way, if you're not aligned to what you want to create, then you will just naturally align energetically to the chaos. So if you don't consciously decide that you want to live in a world of peace, love, and mung beans, right? If you don't want to, you know, if you don't consciously decide about having abundance and joy and peace and happiness and all of those things, if you don't consciously decide that, what happens is your system will naturally gravitate to the lowest vibration that's on the planet because of this reptilian brain that's always looking for survival, right? Lemon water. first first bit of the lemon water, always a little bit so if you're not being conscious of what you want to create, then your unconscious is stealing the show. And so is the muggle world, the matrix, the place where everyone's plugged into, you know, the kids creating chaos, the assassinations, what the government's doing, the latest health scam, blah, 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 right? All of that stuff is relevant, right? Because we are all living there. And I'm not saying, you know, dig your head in the sand, but I'm telling you, if you don't actually make a decision, because if those things trigger you, if you're getting triggered and you get frustrated, angry, overwhelmed, scared, fear, you know, go into feeling powerless in some way, if you feel those things, then I would say shut off all of it. Don't tune into it. Don't plug into it. Don't check out the news. Don't watch violent movies. Don't do any of the things. You need to really unplug. The other thing that I would say is go and get a massage. Go and align your body, clean out your system, like do some sort of cleansing or look at the foods that you're eating and putting in your body, because if you're putting lower vibrational foods in, processed foods, you know, fried foods, breads, lots of carbs, all of those things, then your body is going to be heavy. And the heavier your body is, the heavier your mind is, because we are a chemical, a big chemical factory. um, and the other thing I would say, go and get a massage, clean up your diet, and go and get a chiropractic adjustment, um, just to align your system, and continuously look at your energy. So I have a quick chakra balance for busy people. It's a meditation that you can get. It's an audio. It's 15 minutes, and it's so good that from a business point of view, I've just realized that it actually isn't serving me. Because if anyone's in business for themselves, in the coaching online business, they know that you've got to have an open loop in your lead magnet, right? So you have a lead magnet, and it's going to draw people to check out more stuff that you do, right? Well, I've just discovered that my quick chakra balance for busy people is so good that people aren't coming back. Like, they're going, oh, we're sleeping better. Oh, I had a guy just find me and do the chakra balance from America, from a Facebook group. And I spoke to him, and he said that he's sleeping better. He's got 2 jobs, I think. He's got a whole big family. He lives in, he doesn't live in America. He lives in Vietnam, I think he said. And because he's sleeping better, he's more productive in his business, and he's got more clients in the last week of doing the chakra balance. So he's got more sleep, having better relationships with his family, and he's got more clients because his brain thought of an idea, because he's got more oxygen in his body, and he came up with his idea within the week, and he got more clients. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. And I need to do something about that because it's not that I think it's awesome and I'm going to keep the chakra balance meditation. Is that there's a lot more to it as well, right? Because that is great, and he's getting results right now, but if he doesn't continue to do it, then those results will go back into old patterns of behavior, because the unconscious will always take over if you haven't cleaned that mess up. So how is it that you follow the signs and follow what I call the white rabbit, right? You have to clean up the noise in your head. I saw a GIF the other day that had the Mad Hatter from Alice in Wonderland, the one where it was, what's his name? The actor, I can't think of his name. The one that did the Tim Burton Alice in Wonderland. He's also does Pirates of the Caribbean. I can't think of his name. Anyway, this Mad Hatter, the little caption underneath was saying something to Alice, like, there's too many voices in my head, right? And he was like totally overwhelmed. And that's the case with so many people, right? There's too many voices in our head, because when you haven't cleaned up the unconscious, you've got the voice of reasoning that you made up yourself, the decisions that you made up from your childhood, right? Then you can have the voice of reasoning from your mum. Don't do that. Don't stand out. Be a good girl. Be a good boy. Don't, just blend in. Don't rock the boat. Then you can have the voice of reasoning from your father, right? You've got to be strong and fight and get a good job and all of those things, right? Well, then you can have all of these voices that sound like your mother and your father and maybe even you, that are actually generational, right? So they're now saying, oh, you're a woman, you've got to be submissive, and you've got to don't stand out and don't look good because, you might be seen too much, and you're in danger if you're seen. Don't show your magic, like don't do anything intuitively in front of people because there's danger, all of those things, right? And then you've got these past lives that are still infiltrating your system as well. So we've got all of this noise in our head that if you haven't cleaned that noise up, it creates chaos in here, and that's why you're seeing the chaos outside. That's why you're not seeing the synchronicities, the triple numbers, the rabbits in the road after you've decided to follow the white rabbit, right? My I've just decided to do a course, a 12-week course called the Manifestation Key, right? I've just learned this new amazing manifestation process that's just blowing me out and blowing Tim out. And I'm like, as we're doing it, I've got 7 women in there already. My whole crown chakra is opening, my third eye. Every time we do it, I can feel the energy. You've got to do it with a partner. That's what's really interesting about it. And every time I do it, so I've just started this 12-week. It's going to be in October. Started promoting it, and I go down the street the other day, and the car park is full. There's one car park, and as I drive into the car park, the car in front of me has got the number plate that says key on it, right? And I've called it the manifestation key. So these things happen when you have clarity and not so much noise in your head, right? When you've got more space to hear your higher self, then you can act. Now your higher self has got a voice. Now it's not just a whisper. Now it's a knowing. Now it's a little bit louder. Now you can act on it, right? So now you've got this ability to, the other noises have gone, and now you hear it and you can act on it. And what happens is it becomes accumulative. And so the more you act on it, the more you see the triple numbers, the more you have these synchronicities with cars and, like magic happening, and 3 shooting stars, and meeting the love of your life down the beach, and all of the things that happen because it becomes an accumulation. You're listening and you're just observing and you're taking action on what that one voice that's in your head says. Whereas when you've got too many voices, you don't know which voice to hear. You often, the unconscious speaks way louder. I think I'm going to sneeze. The unconscious speaks way louder than everybody else in there, right? And that's when you go down the street and there's too many people, and then there's, gangs of kids, and you just happen to be down the driving down the driveway or down the road, when there's a whole heap of them, and they throw rocks or they go in front of you, or these things that become a chaotic experience become more and more of your reality instead of just being in flow. This is when life becomes really hard, because life is happening to you, not for you, and you don't know how to switch it because life is so chaotic, and there's what's going to happen next, like you're driving down the drive and you're going, like the journey of life, and you're constantly on high alert of what's going to be next and who's going to do what, and where's my power going to be given away because I'm not in control of my reality, right? And it's a horrible place to be. I do remember it from way back. I mean, I've been doing this stuff for a long time, but I do vaguely remember, and I see it out there in the world where people are just overwhelmed, stressed, anxious, depressed, and not in control of what's going on in their life. And so they feel like they've got no choices. So it really starts to follow the white rabbit and to see synchronicities, it starts with cleaning up your body, cleaning up your mind, right? And that sometimes starts with cleaning up what you're giving your body. If you're eating too many carbs, stop eating bread, right? Stop watching TV, as in the news and the sitcoms and the, I don't even know, like the free TV stuff I haven't watched for so long. I don't even know how to get onto it. um, those things are programming your mind. They're called program for a reason, right? Television, right? It's a vision of the future. They're programming your mind into staying small. So no TV, cleaning up your diet, getting yourself a massage, a lymphatic massage, cleaning out your system, doing a detox, drinking more water instead of coffee, cleaning, doing a chiropractic adjustment, or one of those energetic ones instead, like doing something like orthobionomy or cranial sacral. There's so many different modalities that will support your body to be in alignment. Check out my chakra meditation before I decide to make it a paid thing. Put chakra into the into the comments if you want it. Do something to start cleaning up the stuff that's going on in your mind, right? Now, you can do that with mindset training, where you catch yourself and then come back, catch yourself and come back, and eventually that will slowly start making the predominant thoughts will be the ones that you're focusing on instead. That takes a long time. Or you can do something like recoding, right? In the 12-week manifestation key, it's a portal. It's not a course, it's a portal. I'm going to show you a concept that blows my mind. And as I said, it's the most amazing manifestation that I've never been into manifesting. I always create. But this is so cool that I wanted to share it. And so we're going to be doing 12 weeks. It's a beta program because I want to bring it in with recoding, so cleaning up your system so that you can do this process easily. I mean, it's an easy process, and I have a feeling that some people might need some support with it first because they need to, clean up their system first. So we'll be doing all of those things, guiding you through recoding, cleaning up what's going on in your brain. And we're doing it now, right? Here we are starting in October, and people are just starting to think about Christmas and the end of the year. And I got a big nudge, do it now. It's ripe. It's time now, because if we start in January, which is what my mind told me, we're already too late. We're going to be building the momentum now for really smashing and, jumping into 2026, all guns blazing, and, just skidding in, all the way through to through January and February, because January and February can be very stagnant if you cut yourself off from 2025 in December and then you start thinking about January in January, right? It really shuts the energy off, and it takes a long time to build the momentum again. So we're doing all of it this year so that we're thriving and not surviving. So if you're interested in the manifestation key, just put key into the chat, into the comments, and I will catch you next week, which might not be on because I'm going to be camping in Foster. Tim is doing a regatta, and we're camping for 5 days, totally switched off. Hopefully we've got some reception that I'll come on my phone. If not, I will catch you in a fortnight's time. See ya.